a model of Christ. The world we live in cannot be lived in alone. From the moment of our birth, and for a considerable time thereafter, we rely on the help of others. Even after we've grown, we remain beings who cannot live in isolation, always influencing and being influenced by others. In every fleeting encounter, we impact those around us in some way, whether positively or negatively. Thus, the question arises, what kind of influence do you have on the people around you? While we may be sensitive to the impact others have on us, we often pay less attention to the influence we exert. This is because, by nature, humans are self-centered. However, those who have accepted Jesus as their Savior should not live self-centered lives. Continuing to live this way after accepting the Lord is not in line with what God desires for our lives. Often, those who do not believe are said to not know God. Thus, they tend not to recognize God, deny Him, or think of Him in ambiguous terms. However, their attitude is understandable. Through their worldview, they cannot see or understand God. The only window through which they can see God is through believing Christians. That's why Jesus called the believers the light and salt of the world. The role of being light and salt means to act in a way that allows others to discover God through us. This involves directly witnessing the gospel and indirectly letting them see God through our devout way of life. Believers often find it challenging and difficult to directly witness the gospel. Indeed, directly sharing the gospel requires extensive training and determination. Setting aside that task, if asked whether their lives reflect God to others, they also admit this is not easy. They often excuse themselves by saying, "The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak." However, being the light and salt of the world is not about pretentiously showing a devout faith or feigning happiness to others. Consider this. Does salt strive to create its saltiness? Does light, which is actually darkness, fabricate brightness pretentiously? The Lord's command isn't for us to manufacture saltiness or light on our own. If we have faith and live by it, that very existence is the saltiness and brightness He speaks of. Yet the reason many fail to fulfill their role as light and salt today is due to being engulfed in secularism, failing to steadfastly maintain their faith. To be light and salt, as commanded by the Lord, is not about consciously deciding to be so, or engaging in action solely to appear virtuous. It's about having a faith rightly aligned with God. When our faith is properly oriented towards God, we naturally fulfill the roles of light and salt. It's not about presenting ourselves in a certain way to the world, but standing correctly before God, reflecting His light, and thereby becoming the light of the world. Therefore, instead of striving on your own to be light and salt, strive to stand rightly before God. When we position ourselves towards God, He will illuminate us abundantly, making us light and salt to those around us.
구독, 좋아요, 알림 설정 해주세요. Subscribe, like, set notifications.